guys, it's Nurse J, Nursing the Truth, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Well, I'm so glad to be back. I have been nursing all through the week and weekend. My daughter was sick. She's home with me now in the other room, but she's doing better and going back to school tomorrow. So I have been working and nursing family and strangers at the hospital, and I have to stay well. So, thank you for all of the wonderful comments from new subscribers and other people that just skip along my channel. I've gotten a couple of ugly comments. That's okay with me. If I don't respond to you, that really means that I'm not going to go into negativity. I'm a very happy person. I'm happy with myself, and I choose not to get into negativity. So, with that being said, you know, I sit in my chair at night and I think about and I meditate about the things that I'm going to talk about. And sometimes it takes me days to kind of think and meditate on what would be some good topics, because as we are all in the truth-seeking movement and we're becoming conscious and we're seeing through things a lot more, and our vibrations are picking up in our intuition, I think it's very important that we all try to put our information together, and let's not fight and say you're right, and you're wrong, and you're better than them, and so on and so forth. Let's see eye to eye. So, really, who is the name Satan? What is it? Is it a thing that runs around on two hooves and has two horns like the god Pan, or the movie of The Labyrinth with Tom Cruise? Why are you so scared of that name? Is it because we've been brainwashed as little children in the church that Satan goes to and fro and he devours? And he is like a thief, and he comes in this glorified light to deceive man. Why has this name been so demonized? Is it a situation that there's a particular entity, as I've told you before, that is truth and wisdom and knowledge, and the other ones of the gang didn't like it and they got mad? So, as we know, the Christian church has demonized and has made this up. And if you do not believe me, truth seekers or Christians that tiptoe through the tulips on my channel, go look up in your search engine of a priest that says that the Catholic Church made up hell to scare and brainwash and indoctrinate you. If you don't believe it, please feel free to do so. And this particular priest does still preach today, but it's not the preaching you would really expect. Because see, he even says, will the real Jesus please stand up? Because as I've told you before, and you will not listen, that there were so many Joshuas or Yeshu or Yeshua that were running around at the time. So, check it out. Now, Satan, do you really want to know what the Old Testament says about this Satan? And do you really know what the Jewish religion or the Jews of the day and or what they say today? What the word Satan is. You see, in the scriptures, Satan in their scriptures, even in the book of Job, which is quote unquote the oldest book in the Old Testament, that was a story in the Ugaritic text that they stole from Canaan and put it into this text. Did a video on that as well. Very easy to find. So the word Satan only means adversary, an opponent that opposes you, or the accuser. But you see, it was actually in a positive context in Job because God told Satan to accuse. He was the accuser. So that's really not made in a negative connotation. He was put up to do it by someone that told him to do it. So if you look at it that way, this Satan in the book of Job wasn't going around doing it himself for the hell of it. He was doing it because this God told him to do it and gave him the okay. That's all I meant. And even in some rabbinical Jewish literature, it says that this Satan, the adversary, could even be a man. So then you have Hasatan or Nagash. It just means a serpent. Nag, N-A-G, the Nag Hammadi text, serpent. So, how old is this word? Really, is it a Hebrew word? Not. So let's go look at what is going on with the word. You see, the word Satan, there's no need to panic, my truth seekers. Its origins come from a Sanskrit, S-A-T or S-A-T-I, which means truth. Now, why in the world would Indian people, Sanskrit, write the word Satan and call it truth? And then the Christian Rome dogma says it's evil. But Sanskrit was before Hebrew. Satan has never been a name, but a word. Oh, that strikes a chord in the church bells. Satan was a word, not a form. In Semitic language, it means adversary or accuser. And I didn't even read this. I'm just going what the scripture says. In the Sanskrit language, it means truth and wisdom. Here are other examples which are easy to read in Sanskrit directory. Satyam, eternal, absolute reality, Sathoya. Truth, real, honest, right, and true. And the Sata Arcana, practice of the truth, and Satai Jana, wisdom and truth, and Sata Loka, kingdom of the Lord. Oh boy, the Loki, the Lokai, the Enki. You see where this is going. Hopefully, if you are awake and love truth, then this, my friends, is a doorway. Enki, have yoga to mankind, especially that of the Kundalini. In Kundalini yoga, there the Satama and the Satnam, many schools of yoga deny the etymology of Satya and Satyana. Of course, they will lose their credibility. They're respected, and their students, and their money. Now, what you're going to like is SA equals infinite. Ta equals life. Na equals death. And Ma is rebirth. Satanama, or the primordial sounds of the universe and of all creation. It goes with mudras of particular positions of the fingers. Satanama. Satanama frees oneself from the past and enables to be born again in one's entire divine reality. That one of Enki in ourselves. It's obvious that for anyone who wants to see the truth, Satanama or Satnam or Satya speaks about our creator God Enki. The Satnam is yoga body structure, posture that enables the energy to rise up the seventh chakra, and thus to get little by little spiritual powers, clairvoyance, telepathy, astral journey, but also a mantra we repeat while maintaining the posture. It is the reason why Christians consider yoga as evil. Go to yoga, my friends. I did it for 4 months. Was peace, tranquility. Blood pressure went down and my thoughts were awesome. Because suddenly the humans would become aware that they don't need tyrannical religions, which were forged. And because Enki has already given everything to mankind, a lot of European and American Christian or evangelist blogs revile yoga, and evangelist blogs revile yoga and everything which helps humans to get their personal power back. Of course, let's go back to Enki. The name Satan was given by Anu. From now on, unable to pronounce his name without choking with rage. Enki became the adversary, his adversary, the accuser of the pathogenic madness from truth. In Sanskrit, the word Satan deviated to the notion of opponent, adversary, accuser, detractor in Semitic language called shaitan. The deviation was intentionally imposed through the times. Enki henceforth accepts this word as one of his names because it clearly characterizes his cosmic combat against tyranny and madness of Anu and Enlil and the rest of the gang. Moreover, what kind of God could transform truth and wisdom into adversary? If not a monster, a fool, a bloodthirsty sadist, visibility, occult power, and not going along with adequate consciousness, Anu is a perfect example of the disruption. Thus, we are very lucky to have Enki for father. Loving, loyal, faithful, mighty, full of compassion for his children, Enki Satan is cosmic God beyond all description. There has never been any Satan with a red skin nor with horns or hooves, and this kind of foolishness belongs to minds who were sick. The Satan of the Christians exists only in the sick brains of the monks of the Inquisitions and the ecclesiastical occultism, to terrify populations, to drown them under superstitions, to empty them of any strength and power through a pile of prohibitions, taboos, rules. This is the expressed purpose of Anu and his clique. Why? To keep Enki's children away from him. We are billions of small, potent Enkis. If father and children will meet and above all speak together, then what is better than a name deliberately loaded up with all the sins of earth? In order to make flee even the most courageous among us, let's wake up. One lies to us, one manipulates ourselves for nearly 4,000 years for Anu and his pride. We are only cash cows, economic slaves that must submit and slaughter. Enki is Satan. He is the bearer of light. He's freedom and knowledge. He's the father of mankind. Enki is Prometheus, who stole the fire from the gods and gave it to the humans. In other words, he gave mankind the same potential as the gods themselves. A soul, a kundalini, an unbelievable mightiness. The fury of the bad gods was enormous and it was limitless. They had acquired their powers after millions of years of slow evolution, as suddenly one of them, Enki, the scientist, geneticist, famous for his wisdom and profoundness, was giving his gifts to mankind, who, thanks to him, obtained millions of years of evolution without any efforts. It was too much. The despicable Anu cursed his own son. I will rig you are with a nickname that will move away your children forever. Everywhere you will be fear, horror, suffering. For the humans you love so much, you will become the absolute evil. In truth, the absolute evil is not Enki. The absolute evil is Anu, god of hatred, blood-generated father who eats his children. Anu, Enlil, Jehovah, Yahweh are pseudonyms to fool mankind. These pseudonyms behind whose hides them are thought forms that he created with them, filled up with prayers and blood and sacrifices. And humanity worships these gods who do not exist. They are only words, names, shells which feed themselves with our fears, our pains, and our energy. The war in heavens as on earth is real, and the combat between Enki and the evils also. Myths are not myths. They are disguised truths to protect oneself from persecution. Feel in your heart, your soul knows the truth. Satan is Enki. The bearer of light, the Venus, the morning star, truth, love, and wisdom. And Anu's strategy is to accuse his son of everything that he is himself and of his obnoxious deeds, but also able to accuse him of everything that are the enemies of Enki themselves, and everything they do. When one wants to kill one's dog, what does one do? One accuses it of having rabies. And when one wants to kill one's immortal son, what does one do? One accuses him to be the absolute evil, the divisor, the darkness, the evil, and again, Anu is the true devil within Enlil. The biblical insane God who demands blood sacrifices and murders ate every page of the so-called sacred book. A great part of humanity adores a serial killer, a bloody, lawless monster without soul or consciousness. And you know the saying, birds of a feather flock together. Anu could only ask the reptilians to do his job. God should be summoned to appear before the court of humanity for incitement to racial hatred, to repeat genocides, to the most horrible tortures, to absolute evil. And when this God, Anu, realizes that his behavior was worse than that of the humans, he sent a thought form created by him and his clique. Thanks to Enki. Thanks to Enki. Thanks for all eternity, because knowledge frees. Knowledge erases karma. Knowledge opens the doors towards a real freedom and a true power for oneself. And glory to Ea, Enki, Ptah, Prometheus, Lucifer, Satan. Glory to all the ancient gods for a freed earth. Free the earth. Now you can find this on forum.davidike.com. And also, if you go to, let me get the site for you. Ptah, Enki, Setna. Okay. It's called Enki, Ptah, Satya, SATYA.com. And it gives you the history of Enki, the true creator, the forgotten history. Talks about the conflict with Enki and Anu. It tells you about the gods. It tells you that about he was called Satan. And I did a video about this not too long ago, how they demonized. These writers knew who Enki and Enlil and Anu were, and Anana and Marduk. They knew these gods. Real, not real, whatever. But I'm just saying, this is where it's from. We did not just get here by mistake. Let me just say this. If you think there's a man like us sitting in a factory, excuse me, excuse me, hate sneezing on my video. If you think there's a man in a factory and he wants to make Nurse J, and he's doing this, and he's, okay, you're ready. And then he wants to make Billy Bob, okay, and he wants to make Susie Q. I mean, think about that. How can you physically make somebody, and that being in the scriptures, I knew you before you were born, which that scripture is out of context because it's talking about Jeremiah. It wasn't talking about the world. This verse was talking about Jeremiah. I knew you before you were formed in the womb. So, got to read things in context. You can't take it out of context like the preachers want to do. So, think about that. Like, one God, one monotheistic God that we've been given to in this Bible, says that we've been told that he makes us and he forms us. I don't know. But you can see from the Neanderthal, the Cro-Magnon, Homo sapien, okay, you can see that there is an evolutionary gap. So between the Cro-Magnon and the Homo sapien, there are a 30,000 year gap. Something had to be tinkered with. Because even if a tinkering wouldn't have been done, I really don't know how much progress more through the evolutionary status we would even be today. I don't even think that we would be as smart as we are today if the genetic marker wasn't tampered with. If you go do Lloyd Pye's research, which he was killed too, P-Y-E, Lloyd Pye, scientist. See, all the truth movement, they want to kill for speaking about the true origins of our existence. So, is it time for Enki's children to wake up? Is it the time? Who are you? Are you one of Enki's children? Oh, I think I am. I think my children could be. I know one of them could be. So, is it wrong? I don't think it is that we say to Enki, thank you. Now, I do know in the Sumerian text and the tablets, they had a higher power that they even answered to, because they knew of a prime creator, a prime, the all, just like what the Egyptians say. There's a force. Is it a situation where we were from the divine beings from another place, and then their God maker is another from another place? I mean, is it a situation where there's not this big man or woman or mother, father in this universe that is in this house with gold streets and a big table with a feast? I mean, when your mind starts wondering, I mean, it only snowballs and starts thinking of other things. I mean, is it a realm of a realm of a realm of a realm of a realm? Who is this? You start thinking and you start asking questions. Because if they had something to do with us, we are acting like them because we are making AIs. Do you understand that? Artificial intelligence. We are doing what if they did. We are making these robots, Alexa, Siri, iRobots, talking AIs, Sophia in, I believe, Australia. She's the first registered citizen, Saudi Arabia, the first registered AI in Saudi Arabia. You have a man, a news anchor in China that said he is your first AI news reporter and looks so real you cannot even hardly tell that it's an AI, except his personality is a little under the cuff and it's not like smiley and happy like me. Go check that video out. We are the creators, just as they were the creators of mixing things, because they didn't want to work either. And so guess what? We're making AIs and we're putting them in these plants, these Ford plants, Toyota plants, GM plants. We have robotic technology in the hospital that is doing surgery. Oh my goodness, do you not see the downfall of this problem? And then they're going to get smart because they're in the World Wide Web. And then the AIs are going to make things. It's just a big fat problem. It's going to come down to the humans versus the artificial intelligence. Mark my word. It's getting out of control. Now, Will Enki come back? I hope he does. I really do. Are we ever going to get to meet him? I hope we do. So until next time, Hotep Ashe, and know that Satan is not a man. It is only a word. Sata Nama. So when you meditate, my friends, sit in a chair, feet flat on the ground. Keep your chakras open. Do not cross your legs. Both fingers to each. And as you say the words, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma, and say them slow. Say it out loud. And let the power begin. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you soon.